Welcome to the show. It is Wednesday on Your View, but it is not a normal Wednesday because today is a very special day. For the first time in a very, very long time, Nima doesn't have a choice but to celebrate her birthday with us. Usually she would go and do charity somewhere or say she's praying the night before, or one story or the other is I'm going to spend the day with my family. However, as BC and Mariah are not around, you don't have a choice. You are celebrating your birthday with us.
BC and Mariah,
Public announcement today is Alaja Akashat Nima Zebiri's birthday. Happy birthday, sweetie.
Happy birthday.
I'm happy to see you today. Don't worry, I have a surprise for you. I know you're just going to bring, but the one I have for you. You know I know you.
Is he?
This guy disappointing you.
And I'm fine.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm grateful. Very grateful to God. It's been a very beautiful year. You know what last year was like? So I'm so grateful. Reflecting on it. And my therapist said that my therapy happened on live show. So I'm grateful, yeah. And if you are in that place, you want to cry, cry. It helps. You'll be good after. So this year is just beautiful. I'm so grateful for the love. A lot of people, they don't even let New Day start. My sister's friends started with the gifts and calls. Mrs. Eunice, I love you right back. That man, she's so sweet. Oh. Thank you so much for the love. I'm grateful. My husband, this method, I will redo it maybe another time. It's working.
Retaliate.
No, I'm not retaliating. I'm repeating the method. Method is very rewarding. So thank you so much. I'm grateful. Thank you. Grateful to God for life, for my kids, for everything.
I love your choice of color. It shows that we are in a very bright, happy space, and I'm really grateful. I know what last year brought, and I'm grateful for where you are this year, and I know that the God that has sustained this year will continue to let you have better next year. Inshallah. All right, number 2, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. So I want to wish Nima happy birthday.
Thank you.
She's a wonderful human being. In fact, when I started this show, she was one of the most, I really liked the way she welcomed me, even though you are my Muslim sister and, but it was so overwhelming and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And happy birthday. I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
You are going to be, your this thing will shine brighter and brighter than diamond and all. Thank you so much for the love and understanding.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Love you.
I want to make her blush today. Because this is what we're doing there.
Honestly.
And of course, today is all about my learned colleague.
Yes.
My learned colleague. Happy birthday, darling. You know how I feel about you. You're just a burst of positive energy, constantly encouraging. I just love who you are. I love the fact that, there's just so much layers to you. Yes. And I know that this new season will bring nothing but happiness, joy, increase.
Thank you.
All right? Everything that you wish for, God will grant it to you.
Thank you.
Darling. And then I know you said today in the makeup room that you're making dinner for your husband. Dinner.
Only
and for your family. This is family.
Exactly, instead of lunch.
Stole my family
So you know.
I know, she's always doing her birthday with her family, but we collected you today.
Yes, how are you
and we're happy. I'm doing amazing. I'm grateful to God. It's a day to celebrate. Sometimes we shouldn't wait until milestones to celebrate. But when the milestone comes, we use it as a platform to celebrate. So don't worry, I will write my episode on Instagram for you.
I forgot my birthday mates.
Who's your person?
So it's rare to find. Amira Olatunjo Jimo, Bolu, and Victory of Zenith Bank. So those are my newly collected birthday mates. Happy birthday to all of
them. Happy birthday. All right, we'll take a break. When we return, don't worry, we're not celebrating the birthday on the show. It's after.
No. It's serious business.
We'll come back and go through the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We'll be starting off the front page review with The Nation. Major headline: Council of State Governors pass confidence vote in Tinubu. That's our president. Ex-leaders praise Nigerians for rejecting illegal change of government. NSA ministers brief leaders on economy. Student loan. 6 varsities received 2.026 billion as tuition. EFCC gives NEL Fund 50 billion from funds recovered from looters, and why Okpobolo will win Edo governorship election by Oshomole. RMFA releases what senators' take-home actually is. ICPC uncovers 22,074 suspicious workers in ministries, departments, and agencies. Impostors get paid about 37.1 billion in 2023. JAPA Psychiatric Hospital seeks support for abandoned patients, and government targets telecom sector to boost economy, says Edu. Final story will be taking custom. Controller General, federal government will lose 188 billion to suspension of duties on food imports. So what story are we starting with?
I want to do major headlines. So since President Buhari left Aso Villa, he visited it yesterday for the Council of State meeting. And, usually it's made up of the ex-leaders, presidents and heads of states and governors, as well as some FEC members. And so yesterday, President Bola Tinubu had his first Council of States meeting where the ex-leaders gathered and they hailed the democratic stability that we feared we almost lost during the August 1st protest. So they also commended Nigerians for resisting, a takeover of our democracy. They also commended got a briefing on the renewed hope agenda by some members of FEC who made presentations, including the NSA, some other members. And President Buhari was seated, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan was seated, General Yakubu Gowon was there, General Absalami was there. Very loudly absent was President Obasanjo, as well as ex-heads of state Babangida, who were absent. But, as usual, the meeting held and they were briefed.
I celebrate our previous leaders who still show up, even though many Nigerians, a part of me, like many Nigerians feel like they are part of our they contributed to the problem that we're trying to solve. Yeah. But let them also come and contribute to the solution and see how bad their impact was or how good their impact was. In my mind, bad. But then let's continue the conversation.
Okay, so we have the story of the JAPA Psychiatric Hospital. They said that the hospital is seeking assistance for the treatment and welfare of abandoned mental health patients in the hospital. The medical director, Dr. Olubenga Owe, who made the call in an interview, he said 25% of the patients on admission could not pay their bills anymore. He also said that that some of them even go as far as even dying, and they don't even have money to even bury them and all. And also that their medications, some of them cannot even pay. And some of them, again, they have been abandoned by their relatives. And so they've left everything to the hospital to bear. So he's now asking Nigerians to come out and donate. Maybe we should start a GoFundMe.
I think it's really, I'm happy that the Nation put it in the front page so that it gets enough airtime and more people will start thinking, because we give to motherless, we give to, but these are people that they need mentally unstable, so they can't pay for themselves, and the family might have been exhausted in their funds and all of that.
It's a thing. They usually would abandon
them. So sad. Okay, so I have many universities have confirmed receipt of tuition payments for successful students' loan applications by the NEL Fund. 6 federal universities, according to the chart, have received over 2 billion for the 2023-2024 academic session. And they just started disbursing the 20,000 naira monthly upkeep for the students. Universities that have received money so far is Bayero University. They've received over 853 million. University of Maiduguri received 589 million naira. Federal University of Katsina, Judson received 305 million. University of Ibadan, Oyo, received over 201 million, and then University of Ilorin, 52.9 million. University of Benin, 4.4 million, and they are calling on other federal universities in other states, to apply so that they can spread this money across. And then they are in line with what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive. The EFCC has disbursed 50 billion naira to the NEL Fund in order to help fund them for the disbursement of these monies. And these monies are monies that were gotten from criminal activities, right? And President Ahmed Tinubu started this whole initiative with 35 billion. So now they have a total of 85 billion naira, which is a lot. And EFCC is calling for transparency and that they're going to put their eye in the way this money is disbursed, right? So that nothing happens. But they're also saying that universities are saying that for money, fees that has been disbursed to them already for tuition, that students that have already paid their fees can now reapply for them to refund fees, which is contrary to what Mr. Sawyer said here the other day, right?
Be deferred for the next year.
Yeah, it should be deferred for the next year. Or that if you've paid, that means you have the funds to pay.
And the money is reversed.
And the money, yes, is reversed. So, but now they're saying that you need to attach your evidence of payments and receipts for the universities to now refund your tuition to you.
It's a hot
I don't know. Yes, it should be a hot topic, and then we should also make sure that this doesn't cause issues.
Some people reach out to me for school fees. I sent them the web page.
Exactly. Yes, you can go and apply
for health fund. But I was going to take a story of the Controller General of Customs talking about the impact of the what the government is doing to support. So the speech is called "Facilitating Food Trade Through Custom Process: Best Practices for Nigeria," and he mentioned that for us to understand the commitment this government has towards providing food for the citizen is to get the value of the sacrifice the government is making by waiving the suspension of the tariffs on food. So the foods that the government has suspended tariffs on include rice, wheat, maize, sorghum for the next 6 months. And the total volume of the money that the government was estimated to earn but are forfeiting is 188 billion naira. And the implication, according to the Controller General of Customs, which is Adewale Adeniyi, is that the government is committed to food security and the government is doing what they can for the citizen. This is the amount of money that would have come in that the government has decided to forfeit so that we can have more food brought into the country, especially rice, wheat, and other things. Moving on to Punch, the major headline. Federal government blocks 83 billion naira protest funds, arrest political collaborators. Government uncovers $50 million crypto funds, blocks 4 digital wallets containing $38 million. In other news, there's you see that there's a picture of the Council of State involving the 3 of our current president and 2 past presidents, as well as the Senate president and vice president. TUC backs 5 million naira monthly pay for judges. 16 confirmed dead in Oyo multiple crashes. NGC to select Ariwola's successor by Friday. EFCC donates 50 billion crime proceeds to Nel Fund. NNPCL postponed Port Harcourt refinery kickoff 6th time. And the federal government unveils plan to bring back 12,400 JAPA doctors. 109 senators earn 1.4 billion naira annually, and 4.2 trillion foreign MOUs signed under Tinubu. We will start uncovering this story when we return from the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We'll still continue with the front page review, Punch. What story are we starting with?
Senators and how much they are making. So the
We start
revenue.
in division.
No, it's not much. It will not shock you. The Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission has revealed, responding to Shehu Sani, who had mentioned that they get about 13-something million per senator. So they said, no, they only get a 1.6 million salary monthly, and a total of 12.72 million in the in 12 months, that's annually. And the government budgets 1.4 billion annually for all 109 of them. And they reviewed the breakdown of it. They said that each senator's monthly salary and allowances in that 1 million consists of 168,866 is for motor vehicle, fueling and maintenance. 126,000 plus something, and personal assistance, 42,000. That's what they break down. Other includes 162,000 for domestic staff, the entertainment 50,000. They shall say that the total announced maintenance and everything is about 8,443,000. Sorry, 8 million. House maintenance is 8 million. This 00 that Punch is putting is confusing me, and I know digits. But they broke it down, and the total is not up to what Senator Shehu Sani had calculated. Then they said they have their regular and non-regular allowances. So non-regular would include furniture, which is paid once per tenure, severance gratuity, which is also paid once per tenure, vehicle, which is about 8 million, but total is not what...
But it's still high now.
It's
a lot.
Considering
it's monthly. There are the directors and executives in companies who make that amount, over that amount monthly.
Yeah, sure. All right, so what story are we taking next?
So I have that the federal government wants to bring back our JAPA doctors.
Fantastic. How?
Yes.
And convince them.
People are laughing. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when they approved the national policy on health workforce migration to address the continued exodus of Nigerian doctors abroad. The policy announced by the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Prof. Mohamed Pate, on his X-Hands on Tuesday, aims to encourage an estimated 12,400 Nigerian trained doctors to come back home.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So let's quickly hear from Ramatu. Your mic will...
Okay, so I have the story of the NNPC being Port Harcourt refinery being this thing for 6 times now, and we can't say about Kyari. We can't come out and say the Kyari guy is not saying the truth, but let's hear what he has to say. They say it was observed that promises made to Nigerians by the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources and NNPC about the refinery have continued to witness multiple failures. They said the Port Harcourt Refinery Company, a refinery under the management of NNPC in Rivers State, has again failed to commence operations after about 6 postponements. They said the first one, they said in December 2023, which is NNPC, which is in charge of all the government refineries, has given Nigerians different dates, assuring citizens that the refinery will begin the sale of refined products soon. In July, the Group Chief Executive Officer, that's Mele Kyari, stated categorically that the refinery will come into operation in early August. Right? Sorry, excuse me.
Okay, so let me...
Sorry.
What's the excuse? What's the excuse they are giving?
Okay, so now they said in 2019 that the NNPC will deliver all the...
Okay, you can't get it.
Yeah, sorry.
But once again,
These are-
promise has been made and the promise was not fulfilled. The
was not
president...
fulfilled.
Yes.
And again, he said that they said that the other refineries that were supposed to start, that's the Kaduna refinery and the that were supposed to start in December, all the stories, they are all lies.
Our refinery has become
They are all lies.
the
bottomless pit.
Who will find us
That
the
the
money
money
that they spent?
keeps going inside
No,
and
we
it's
must
never...
find our money. You know
okay,
it was
Then
not
they
what-
said, sorry. They said, Kerry boasted, I can confirm to you, Mr. Chairman, that by the end of the year, this country will be a net exporter of petroleum.
Don't
products.
worry, we said it on TV too. Andrew, Ajuri mentioned it right on TV last year, and it has not happened. We are praying for the success. We don't get any benefits from them failing. The president has decided to, has proposed 5 million naira monthly pay for judges. However, good news is that the TUC, that is the Trade Union Congress, and some civil society have welcomed the increment of salary of the judicial officers in the country, because officially judges are not, judges are not allowed to do many businesses. They are meant to just be like these honorable people above the law, and they are meant to live on salaries that we need to give them salaries that will not make it a sad thing for you to become a judge, for you not to be regretting your decision to go to the bench, and be honest. let the pay be enough to take you home and provide you comfort so that you will be able to remain on that integrity that you have chosen to stick to. They also mentioned the fact that the poor pay that judicial officers earn make them prone to corruption, which is why we want to not just single the judges, but also other judicial officers to get increase in their salary to make it easy for our judiciary to be strong and independent and incorruptible as much as possible. I know it's not just about salary, that sometimes even if they earn a lot of money, corrupt people will still be corrupt, but let us still give them enough money to make them comfortable in their, afford a good quality life. Moving on to Daily Sun. Mass protest, no to unconstitutional change of government. We've taken that story. Federal government to enroll 11,000 Almajiri children. That's good news. Tinubu signs bill to raise salary of judges, judicial officials by 300%. Tragedy in Oyo, multiple auto crash, 16 die, 17 injured, flood kills 3 and displaces many in Bauchi local government. The reps grill WAEC officials, over 5 billion naira expenditure on calculators. I have that story. NUC indemnifies problems of Nigerian tertiary institution, list poor funding, misgovernance, and corruption. So what do we start with?
NUC, of course. The executive secretary, the acting executive secretary of the NUC, Chris Mayaki, was speaking at the 2024 registry lecture in Babcock University yesterday. And he said that, of course, the poor governance, academic corruption, and inadequate funding are some of the critical issues affecting tertiary education. And this breaks my heart. We've been at it for years. These same factors
over and over again
keep reoccurring. I just hope it will be tackled one time.
Okay, so I'm taking the story of the fact that we have WAEC officials who, contrary to the claim that they spent 5 billion naira, 5 billion on getting calculators. So those that write WAEC recently know that the WAEC officially gives you a specific kind of calculator to prevent malpractices. And now they are facing a panel by the House of Representatives on basic education bodies. Yesterday, they grilled the officials of West African examination. The panel examined the fact that there was a 6 billion naira budget deficit that was incurred in 2023. The chairman of the panel, Oboku Ofoji, said that WAEC would have to explain to the parliament how it generated 34 billion in 2023. In 2023, but it spent 40 billion. So you generate 34 and spend 40. Where did that 6 billion come from? They also expressed concern about how the approval of a loan of 5 billion, even when the ministerial board did not approve that amount. They also expect, as there are many issues that they are dealing with, specifically how they were able to spend this breakdown on calculator. I think that a lot is expected from WAEC, a lot is expected from many of our law enforcement agencies to check what they are doing, but we'll be waiting for what the reps would find out after they do their investigation. We want Nigeria to work. Sadly, that's all we can take on front page review. I'll just read the headlines from Tribune. Major headline being that there's constitutional review and the fact that the local government, I know Nima wants to take this story, would love to take this story, the fact that local governments in Osun State have passed an amendment bill. But we can't take all the stories. And also the sad story of what happened in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where 16 died and 17 were injured. 12 burnt to death in Ogere, and it is caused by overspeeding. Please, please, please. As much as we are grateful for the good road, we don't want it to lead to more deaths. That's all we can take on front page review for today. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll go into our hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So on this segment, we have the chairman of Agboiketu local LCDA, Mayor Dele Oshinowo. He'll be joining us on how the recently granted Well, you'll be breaking it down, actually. You'll be breaking down the fact that how the recently granted local government autonomy would impact government at the grassroots level. So, we also will be looking at some of the talking points.
We have not come.
Thanks for staying with us. On this segment, we have the chairman of Agbonyi Ketu LCDA, Mayor Dele Oshinawa. He'll be speaking on how the recently granted local government autonomy would impact government at the grassroots level. We'll also be looking at some of the talking points that has greeted the landmark judgment by the Supreme Court, the implementation of the judgment, the fact that it's being reported that the federal government and state governors may agree to a 3-month moratorium on the local government autonomy, because this has concerned and many other concerns that has arisen from the impact of this policy. We've had many concerns, but first I want to start with you telling us your opinion of the judgment when it came. What did you feel? How did you think? Were you excited? Did you feel like this was necessary or not necessary?
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, ladies. Thank you for inviting me to your show. The judgment is a welcome, is a positive thing for the local government in Nigeria as a whole. But I can tell you categorically, Lagos has been financially autonomous for over 10 years or more than that. And you can see the impact on what we have been doing in Lagos State. And this has shown in our deliverables. In my own local government now, my local government has been able to go into housing development, and we've done that. We actually commissioned about 101 units in December, and we're doing another one on this Friday. So this is part of the impact. And most of the local government will be free to do whatever they want. You know, in Lagos State, we do our projects. There's no interference from the governor.
Really?
Yes, there's no interference from the governor. Lagos State has been, you know, I came in 2017, and since then, and before then, I was the secretary to the local government of Agbonyi Ketu LCDA. So I'm part and parcel of the last 14 years. And I can tell you that Lagos has been autonomous. We are able to do our thing, we are guided by the law, and we're free to do our projects. So any amount we think we can afford, the local government can afford.
I think Lagos is peculiar because, you know, you have LCDAs. Most other states stick to the local government. The 774 local governments do not extend to the LCDAs, and it's continuously argued amongst certain fora where this decision comes up. How does this development affect the LCDAs particularly? Yes,
in Lagos State, I don't think it's going to make any changes because there's still more interpretation that needs to come from the Supreme Court. You can see recently there's another judgment that says that local government chairman must spend 4 years. And if you look at some other states, they are doing 3 years. Lagos State actually started with 3 years, but it was reverted back to 4 years. That was about 7 years ago or 8 years ago. And Lagos is a space setter in this, in local government administration. And you can see that this is what other local government are copying, are studying. They do come to Lagos to see what we're doing. And I believe with this judgment, you see a lot of development coming from the grassroots. There's no way development will come up without the grassroots. If you go to any Western world, whatever democracy they're practicing, governance starts from the local government. Housing estates, caring for the elderly, and all that must go to the local government. We are the closest to the grassroots. And without the local government, the federal government cannot do anything. Any project the federal government is doing, or they want to try to do, is domiciled in the local government, and even the state. So that's the reason why you can see a robust partnership between the Lagos state government and the local government, in Lagos State and the LCDA. And if you look at what we're doing now, we're doing 114 roads simultaneously across Lagos State. The first phase has been rolled out, and this is part of what we're saying. So at the local government, with the autonomous, most of the local governments across the federation, you see that there will be development coming up. People will be able to see the impact of governance.
Fantastic. All right. So, okay.
Yeah, so I know this doesn't affect you because you said that you guys have been autonomous for a while now.
Yeah.
But then I also want to get your own thoughts on the reports that the federal government and the state governors have signed and agreed to a 3-month moratorium for local governments to, because of the impact of salary payments and operational viability. Do you think that this is enough time for them to balance their books and make sure that everything is in order for the local government to take over? And
Yes, you see, because the law is new, the judgment is new, so they need an implementation period. So they need to fight, because in Lagos State, we have what they called a unified system of paying salaries. So the salary, even in Lagos State, the salary will be paid before we even receive our allocation.
Oh, wow.
So it's a unified system. So other states have their different ways of paying the salary. So they need to harmonize it. It needs to reverse back to the local government if you want to do that. So they need to set up a committee, there must be a working document that shows how
the new policy will be implemented.
the new policy will be implemented.
Okay, so let's talk about your work within your local government,
Okay.
right? So aside the 101 housing scheme that you've just done, what else? What are the other aspects? What other aspect are you going to focus on?
Apart from,
What's next?
actually, as I said, 101 was commissioned in December. We're doing 170 on Friday. That's on Friday. And we have ongoing housing projects. Apart from that, there are a lot of infrastructural development.
Well, let me just even
Apart
speak
from
that
housing,
housing.
Infrastructural
Yes.
road.
Please, let's stay with that housing scheme because
Yeah.
I really want people to, what's in it for the residents within your LCDA? Because some will look at the housing scheme and say it might not benefit, it's not affordable, it's not for us. They have built it for them, or some people will benefit from it. How does it benefit the people?
Okay, so
your
at
LCDA?
the beginning, we look at the whole concept, and I said, listen, there's nothing like low-cost housing again, because the cost of construction is astronomical. And we said, okay, let's go for affordable housing. So we actually partner with a developer, and we all agree that, okay, the equity participation of Agboiketu will be reduced. Will be discounted. Don't let me use reduced. Will be discounted so that the apartment can be affordable to the people of Agboiketu. So we actually started at 16 million naira.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, and when they started approaching us, they're asking for mortgage. And we said, no need for mortgage, because if you're getting a mortgage, the cost of servicing that mortgage will be like 20 million or 30 million, servicing 16 million naira. So we decided to we asked them to key in to pay minimum of 10% and to spread the amount over 2 years. So,
Like a
or
rent
sometime, no, it's not rent to own. During the construction period. So you can be paying bit by bit. By the time the construction was completed, they gave you, your key was, the key was handed over to the buyer. So we started paying. And I can tell you within 6 months of the commencement of the project, about 50% has actually subscribed. So from there, they need to review the cost of the cost of construction, and they increase it to 18 million. Yeah. So by the time it gets to 18 million, we're able to achieve 80% subscription. So by the time they're commissioning it, I think they have only 5% left. Yeah. So the final, I think the final one that was sold there was about 21 million naira. So this is what we have done for them, to make it affordable to our community. So it is intentional that people in Agboyi Ketu environment around Ketu must be able to get a place there.
Okay,
so this
so-
is what we have
yeah,
done,
so
and we are deliberate about it.
So I want us to go back to talking about the policy, the local government's policy,
Yeah.
because we also want a lot of people watching us now will be able to finally ask someone who is being impacted on how the policy works. I remember that we were laughing about how Oyo State's local government has said that they've signed their own
Yes.
funds. Is that legal? Is that right? Do you
to
feel
me,
it is
to me,
appropriate?
it is not. It is not legal. It is not, because there's a judgment, and we must obey the judgment. And this is the Supreme Court. This is not where you can appeal, that you want to appeal the judgment. This the Supreme Court is the final, the final place where you can get a.
But even with that, the governors resisted this. You know, the governors, they could not, they kept arguing salaries and all of that, and including your governor.
Yeah.
They have an agreement with the federal government now that they should put a stop to it, a temporary stop to it for 3 months, while before it can take effect. What do you think about that?
The reason why, I think we should get it right, part of the reason why they gave that 3 months is for all of them to conduct election. And you can see all the states are running around
to do
announcing election dates and all those things. So they need,
local government,
so that the payment can be made directly to them, because it should stop coming to the JAC account.
Okay.
So they need to make that payment. They need to conduct the election. They need to come up with a working document that will help them implement, that will allow them to implement that judgment.
Okay, so this JAC account you mentioned now,
Yeah.
how did it work originally? And you know, the case of Lagos is excluded because you said it works well.
Yeah.
But how does it work? What's the sharing formula?
So now, the payment that is due to the state and the one that is due to the local government comes together into one account. The state will take their own. Then there's what they call JAC meeting between with all the local government and the accountant general and the commissioner for finance. We all sit together. We look at the sharing formula, what we need to do, especially the salaries, our contribution to SUBEB, our contribution to LOMA and all that. We'll agree on what we need to pay for that month. So we'll sign it off, and we'll release the payment to all these agencies or subsidiaries. So then the rest come to our local government.
Oh, wow.
So directly, and there's nothing like states said, okay, I want to show amount from it. But in other states, I can't really tell you this is how it works. But I can tell you that Lagos State, we're fine with what we're doing. The payment comes to us, we agree. The governor doesn't get involved in whatever we're doing. In the sharing formula, it doesn't get involved. So even if they want to increase staff salary, we have to sit on the round table. The last one governor announced, we all had a meeting, a conference meeting. We all agreed that, okay, this is what we can contribute to it. At the end of the day, we all signed off. And there's evidence for that. Everything that we have been doing, we agree with the Lagos State, it's been signed off that, okay, this is our own part. This is what we are contributing to it. So even for governor to make any announcement that have to do with salary to staff, he has to call us, he has to have a meeting with us and agree with us on how.
You're not compelled to hand it over?
No.
Yes.
Never.
So it's a good thing to hear that you have autonomy within your local government, and then that means you're able to impact your people, and actually know what's going on with them and know how to help them. So and I can say that you're doing something in your LCG which has to do with We Lift 400. Can you elaborate more on what that is?
Okay. Now We Lift 400 is recent. We've started We Lift program. It's a trader support scheme about close to 7 years now. And we've been doing it every year. So at least, so far now, we've been able to support 6,000 homes. And we're doing another one in 2 weeks' time called We Lift 1,000. We actually partner with Momo PSB. So we are giving out 50,000 naira to each resident of Agboyi Ketu. We've done 400. We've done this year alone. We've actually disbursed 75 million naira to the residents of Agboyi Ketu. And by this, we're actually partnering with banks. We've partnered with Sterling Bank, Providus, and you can get it twice because your BVN is there, your NIN is to collect your NIN. So by the time we put your name on the system, it will pop up that you've collected.
It will be really nice to have residents of Agboike to call into the show to attest to
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
because it is easy to call out when we feel nothing is working, and but rather than acknowledge when something has worked. I wanted to ask you about I'm trying to understand how this policy will work based on what you understand of it. The fact that we have LGA and LCDA in Lagos State. So the law, that's not a law, the judgment. The judgment says that the LGA will be getting funds directly. How would that impact on LCDA?
Yes. Now,
And the workings of the current LCDA in Lagos State?
yes. Now, there's an existing arrangement by, and the existing arrangement was a question of Lagos State House of Assembly, and there's a law that is backing it up. So if the fund is coming to the local government, the fund will be, there's going to be a working document that shows what Koshofe should send to Agboike and to Ikosishere. But this is what they're going to do for the next 3 months. They need to work out another modality on how it's going to work. Because I can tell you that the impact of 37 LCD is enormous, which has contributed to the development of grassroots governance in Lagos State. But there's no any intention of reverting it back. You know, there's no any intention. We've had a meeting with the governor, and there's nothing like, okay, we are reverting back to.
Okay, we'll take a break.
LG.
When we return, we'll continue with this topic, and maybe we'll try and talk more about what exactly LCDA does, what exactly LGA does, so that we inform the audience. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So before we went on a break, I asked Mayor Dele Oshinowo a question about, I'm trying to understand, you've educated me on the funding process of LG to LCDA. Now, please educate us all on the division of labor. I think that's the best way to put it. What is LGA doing right now, and what is the LCDA doing, so that those watching can know what to hold the local government chairman accountable for and what to hold their mayor at the LCD accountable for?
Okay, thank you very much. I think there's no difference. It's just the nomenclature. Yeah, so we do the same thing.
Of interest.
There's no conflict of interest.
Okay.
So we are on our own because we are both elected at the same time.
Oh, okay, but you just have a different zone you are covering.
It's because of the constitution, you know. If you could remember when the president was the governor of Lagos State, there was an issue between the state and the federal. So the best way they can do is to create a local council development area, you know, to walk around. So so there's no difference between.
I don't believe you that is a peaceful one. Let me take this call. When the call comes in, you would explain. I need to still understand.
Okay.
That the two of you, there must be power past power. There must be Oga. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All right, please, you're live. We'd like to hear your contributions.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing Mr. Mayor. My name is Wahid. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I think it's very important that the chairman put things in perspective. And the reason why is that I don't want to be critical of his bill, but I want to be frank. I live within the LCD where he is. Specifically, I live at Balogun Awe, for information. And my wife has a shop not far away from the LCD office. So, this 75 million that we learned that we shared, how do they share it? How do they identify the beneficiaries? I want him to educate us. I don't know about it. I don't think my wife is even aware of it. So who is even close to that thing? That's one. Sometimes ago, we saw that they brought trucks of rice to the LCDA. We saw how it's being shared, but we never know how this thing was shared. But when it comes to the time of election, they move around, canvassing for our vote. We vote for them. But when the benefit comes, it doesn't get to us. They know our houses. So I think there's a way to do this thing better.
Mr. Waheed, for your question. Now, this is coming from someone within your
Yes,
local government.
your LCDA saying that they have a shop close to you, and what was the criteria to get the 50,000 as well as they saw rice entering, but they did not get the rice.
Okay. So thank you very much. Now, we started with Lift to support petty traders. Petty traders in the categories of those people who the value of the market are below 50,000.
Oh.
Yes. So not for those people on the shop. Okay. Petty traders. Petty traders, you see, before by the time...
On the table.
Yes. So when I started this We Lift program, we realized that a lot of people are going through a lot. And because I went out, I left my home, I said, I just want to walk around. And I met this woman selling cola nuts. And I said, how much is the value of your market? And she said, 20,000 naira. I said, how do you cope? And she said, yes, I save 500 naira every day. Sometimes I save 1,000 naira. So on average, it's about 15,000 naira. And they will use that to feed their children, pay their house rent, and all that. So I said, okay, if I support you with additional 50,000, what's going to happen? And she said, I'm going to be very happy. My value will go up and all that. So on that spot, I was able to credit her, 50,000 naira. And a few months later, when she saw me, started praising me and all that. And I said, okay, I'm going to start this, supporting people with 50,000 naira. So we started that we do on the spot assessment. If you go on our page, you see it on our social media, and you see on the spot assessment, we'll ask them, and we'll be able to get their details and all that. We'll take all their details, then through their CDAs. Through their CDAs, through the religious body, through youth council, through the market.
How about the rice?
The rice.
Yes, I'll come to rice. So that is that. For the rice actually, you know, there's this federal government sending trucks to the states. So the rice actually was routed through the CDC. So, but they need to come to the council and use the council office. So by the time the truck landed, they have to share it to all the CDAs. The CDC will share it to all the CDAs.
What's CDA? What's CDC? For those that
Yeah, so Community Development Committee. CDA is Community Development Association.
Okay.
It's like branches of these. Yeah, so you know you have landlord association, all those things. So these rights were shared through those CDAs. They sent to the religious body. But at the end of the day, what we're saying is, look at what we are sharing. Aggregate to our population is about 400 and something million, or about 700 million. Now, 700,000, sorry, I said 700 million, sorry. 700,000. Now, we're sharing 1,000.
You
can't go around. But we need to start something. Now, for this year alone, we've disbursed about 775 million, and we're doing another 50 million. If you divide it, 50,000 divided by 75 million, you know how many numbers you have.
Can't really go round.
And we have done 6,000 so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and sadly, I can't take. Today is a packed
Earlier on, let me ask this question. Earlier on, when you came on the show, you mentioned care to the elderly, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you cater to them? Do you have homes for them?
We don't have homes for them, but through the CDAs, that's the reason why we have CDAs. Through the CDAs, what we're doing recently, so we give them, they pick people who are going through a lot. We go to their house, we give them a bag of rice with 50,000 naira, some are 30,000 naira. Then we have actually partnered with LASHMA, Lagos State Health Management Agency. Okay. We've disbursed over 6,000. We've actually paid for 6,000 health insurance through LASHMA. So people are enjoying, we're caring for our people, but we can't do that for everybody.
I feel really like I feel that there's a whole lot more we can have discussed with you, but we do have a really packed show. And one of the things I've learned from you, especially based on the call from Waheed, is we cannot say the government did not work when we did not participate. So maybe if you are an active CDA member, you attend the community development meeting, you will hear when the rice comes and you would know that you don't need it. There are more people in your community that need it more than you. So we'll continue. Local government, the government is us. We are the government and we must hold the government accountable. Thank you so much, Mayor Dele Oshinowo, for spending a few minutes with us on the show today. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we continue with another guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Hello, good morning, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but
fantastic.
I can hear you, but lightly, very lightly.
Again.
If you can be, if you can be more pronounced, that I will appreciate.
I can't hear. Is my water?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me too? Okay, I am hearing
yes,
you.
Yes, I can hear you. Honorable Allow.
Okay, great. I can hear you.
It's a bit muffled though. It's a bit muffled. No, nobody's. Well, the guest is not physical. Floor, they are all rushing after the guest. Ah.
That's our life, oh. Send my birthday gift.
Mr. Akin, we don't have a physical guest. Our guest is. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So joining us in a state nation interview is a former leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Alassane Doguwa. He's representing Doguwa Todunwada Local Government Federal Constituency of Kano. He's also the chairman House Standing Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, and he doubles as the chairman of the Northern Regional Caucus of the House of Representatives. Welcome to the show, Honorable Doguwa. We've been expecting to have this interview for a while. I think it was since last week. We've been looking forward to having you on the show to talk about all that happened during the protest. And you have the floor. To join the conversation, you can call us on 0810-764-1679 or 090-241-63440, or tweet to us at TVC Connect, #YourView, or you can comment on our YouTube page. We'd like you to contribute to this conversation. This is a rare opportunity to get one-on-one with the House of Rep. So, Sir, first thing I'm going to ask would be reviewing the concluded nationwide protest, especially in Kano, where you're from, and it was a very, very sad. The videos looked really bad. The destruction was shocking, and I'd like to have your opinion on the Mammon crowd that trooped out in the name of the protest and destroyed many properties.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على نبيه الكريم. I think talking about the recently concluded nationwide protest, so to say, I would like to, in my own way, say that it was like we have had at least the opportunity to see the bad and the ugly faces of the protest. I said the good, the bad, and the ugly faces of the protest because the trio of these factors have actually played out. And when I need to give my own personal analysis as to what actually happened, one can ordinarily say, with all sense of responsibility, that protest or public processions in a democratic system of government like our own in Nigeria is something that will now, one can say in the face of it, that is lawful, is legally allowed, that you can go on a legal and lawful procession either on the street or somewhere in a specified place to simply say out what you think you have to say as a stakeholder in a democratic system of government like our own in Nigeria. And I would like to say that, of course, the protest, as it were, like I earlier said, has got these three phases that I have mentioned. The good phase of it, the bad phase of it, and indeed the ugly aspect of it, unfortunately. I want to say, based on my own opinion and based on what I have seen played out during the protest, that protest ordinarily would have been a good thing if it was actually well intended and meant probably to provide checks on the possible excesses or policies of a given government. And it is like a window that is offered to not only stakeholders, citizens in general, to come out and let the government of the day know of what their position is or what are their own expectations or the kind of mileage they think the government is going through to provide like what you can call checks and balances from a civil perspective. And when you now make reference, direct reference to what has happened in Nigeria vis-a-vis in Kano State, 2-3 things must have to be stated. One, I think every one of you, the viewers and those of you anchoring this program can agree with me that a state like Kano, taken from the fact that it's a very populous state, very highly populous state, I think the highest populous state in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with the kind of population factor we have in the state, and probably with some extent of some kind of level of so many people either unemployed, so to say, or people who are out of school for whatever reason, you can tell Nigerians clearly without fear of contradiction that because of these factors surrounding the state, then whatever comes up in Kano of this nature is bound to be escalated because of the population, is bound to also be escalated because of the overzealousness of our own kind of youth. And even if you look at the political terrain in Kano, the kind of narratives we have down in our history, the state is a progressive state, and by our progressive nature and our proactive commitment and conviction to always say out what people want to say, I think has created or made the state a bit vulnerable to used restiveness, political restiveness. And these are some of the factors that one cannot take away from the fact that, yes, it happened to be the most unprecedented across the state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And if you like, you can put it maybe the most destructive that we have had through the course of this nationwide protest, starting from the 1st August, probably to the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd day. And one other factor that I have to say out, of course, take it or not, this is my own understanding. One other major factor, major incidental factor that made the case of Kano a bit worse than every other state in the Federation, I would like to say with due respect and some sense of modesty to the office of the governor of Kano State, that the government in Kano and the governor in person, I think, did not manage this case very well. The expectations in most places, especially at the level of the state governments, not only Kano State governor, but in this case I'm making reference to the office of the governor of the state and the governor of Kano State, His Excellency Engineer Kabiru Yusuf, that there was some sense of negligence in the sense that most states assumed that it was a problem for the federal government. Or a problem for the federal government, bad governance is about federal government, insecurity is about federal government, hunger is about federal government, which obviously is not the case. If you are talking of governance, we are operating under what we call a constitutional federal system of government, constitutional democracy, constitutional federal system of government, whereby you have three components of governments: the federal government and the subnationals, including the local governments. So when you are talking of good governance or bad governance, whether you take it or not, it means the effect of whatever protest youth are likely to stage will have to cut across down the ladder. The federal government will have its own share. The state government should have its own share and responsibility of why people feel that there is bad governance. And the local governments too should have its own share in the course of analysis or making a judgment of what a good or bad governance should be.
Okay, Honorable.
So most state governors took it for granted and expected that, oh, this was a mammoth protest against the federal government alone. And the point I'm trying to make is that the governor took it for granted because he came out openly to make some statements which were very diabolical. Very diabolical, and they were also like they were impulsive to tell the world and to tell the people of Kano State, especially the youth, that come out if you want to protest, come out, you are free to protest, come to the government house, I will receive you and receive your complaints and principles of protest and take to Mr. President.
Honorable.
So this was like a clear-cut, yes.
So I agree that the governor incited them by inviting, protesters to come out, but I think he also underestimated the lack of information that they have. In every such violence, there's an information, and that is that most of the youth up north, especially in Kano, were not as informed as it was south about, what the protest was about. So they mistook it for, a free-for-all. You agree that, being out of school, the lack of education, and the lack of employment is a major factor, and, this is something you, as a representative of a constituency within Kano, should address.
Please, can I also add
yes,
that?
I would like to agree with you on some of these points that you raised, but I want to a little disagree with you in terms of lack of communications. Okay. Communication in the present day Nigeria and even the globe is now a common thing. Is now global. It's accessible by everyone. I want to tell you that I cannot underrate or underestimate the level of awareness of my people, especially political awareness, and especially in terms of dissemination of information. These people in Kano, especially the youth, you have the enlightened one, you have the educated one, the well-informed ones. And I believe, like I said, some of them came out under the good intention of simply staging a protest to pinpoint at some of the lapses of government at all levels of governance, including the third tier of government, which is the local government. And the mistake His Excellency, the governor, made was that, and so many of his colleagues, state governors, mistook these actions or this intended action as if it was going to be a protest against solely the federal government, not knowing that these people are enlightened and intelligent enough to know that every person in authority should be held accountable to the kind of duties constitutionally given or accorded to his office. And the governor now decided to come out and say, oh, protesters can come out. They are free to do it. I'm even welcoming you to the seat of power in the state. Come and stage your protest. Of course, I don't want to say that the governor was doing that with ill intentions. One, he was also, he was either misperceiving the issue, and two, I believe he was saying that in good intention, that he wanted the true organizers of the protest who may have come out in good intention with the good zeal to simply say, oh, this is what we want from the government, that come out, I will receive you, and when you come out, I will take your claims and your complaints to the federal government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Forgetting that these people may have come with claims that are within the jurisdiction of the state governor. For instance, when you are talking of insecurity, for instance, you are talking of infrastructure, you are talking of healthcare delivery system, education system, there are certain components of the discharge of these duties that are rest in the office of the governor of a state. So if these people are actually informed and well educated enough, they will have to come out and hold everyone by his father's name.
Okay,
and in this case, this misperception helped to escalate everything. And that was why I said in the beginning that we have had and we have seen the good side of it, we have seen the bad side of it, and of course we have seen the ugly side of it. And ultimately, like I said, in Kano, because of the volume and the huge nature of our population, the protest was obviously hijacked by people whom I can call politically motivated individuals.
Okay,
they have funded this protest under the ground, they have financed them, they have incited them, a lot of things happening, believing that, oh, it was going to be a problem that will affect the federal government alone, which obviously was not the case.
Obviously. Honorable, we'd like to get in more questions for you.
Okay, yeah, Honorable. So, like you're talking about protests being hijacked, and you cannot hijack a protest without people. And this takes me back to like the education system, where most of the people are not in school, most of the children are not in school. The Almajiris, you can see what's happening in Abuja, for example, FCT, where Mr. Taib Maman is trying to, Professor Taib Maman is trying to take the Almajiris from the streets and then put them back into school, so that they don't loiter about or be hijacked like during the protest. So what is the state, or what's the government doing about that now, knowing that this is a problem, knowing that, you know, the education system is messed up, kids are not in school? What are they doing about that after this whole protest has happened?
I think I still would like to disagree with you a little because this issue of Almajiri school is our own inherited education system in the northern part of the country. So when you are talking of children out of school, out of which school? We have our children in the formal school system, and we have our children also in the traditional school system. Agreed, the traditional school system may have some of its inherent problems that we must have to address. But I always want to disagree with whoever says that, oh, you have out-of-school children in Kano or in the northern part of the country. We do not have, so to say, out-of-school children. We may have children out of school under formal system of education. But those of us, our kids and our wards, including my own kids, may have the opportunity of going to Islamic system of education, which may not have been as formal as you think, and you cannot address them as out-of-school kids. They are in school like every other person is in school. I also want to put it to you that the issue of lack of information or awareness, rule it out. The ordinary person, the most ordinary person you can find on the street of Kano today, especially where this problem happened the more, in the metropolis, the ordinary citizen or ordinary indigenous of Kano that you can find on the street and assume that he is not exposed or he is not intelligent or he is not informed, he is so informed that he knows what happens. The more you have this Android phone in your hands, the more you listen to radio and you listen to the TVC, which I believe the city boys, the city kids, these children that actually took part in this protest have always had access to. You cannot ask, or you cannot charge somebody, for instance, of being uninformed or uneducated. That is on one hand. Then on the other hand, I agree with you that this as a problem, the government must have to find a means of addressing these problems. Even the Almajiri system of government, I want to thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu down the way to the former President Muhammadu Buhari, where they have come up with a commission, special commission, that will definitely look at the excesses of this, our traditional system of education, taking in mind or into cognizance that yes, it's an education system, but there are some policies associated to it, insecurity, exposure of our kids to a lot of dangers, and a commission was set up by the former President Muhammadu Buhari. And more importantly, the present government, which was a continuation of the government of
Honorable,
Muhammadu Buhari.
but it doesn't seem like that
APC
commission has been
government.
effective, sir. That commission hasn't been very effective.
Yes,
Let me
yes,
ask the
so
question. We have a question, sir.
Let me get this point done. Let me get this thing done before the next question. So with a commission like this that is being promoted by a progressive and very active government like our own today, I want to agree that some of these problems will definitely be addressed. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu found this commission just promulgated, just established by law. It was not set up. Today, as I speak to you, the commission is set up. It has its own specified location of office in Abuja. I think administrators, DG, and other executive administrators have been appointed to run the commission. And that goes to tell you that government is not insensitive to the plight of our kids on the street. And at the same time, acknowledging or appreciating the Islamic education system or the traditional education system that our people pursue in the northwestern part of the country, most especially. So
Okay,
I want to tell you that those of us in the second arm of government, which is the legislature, will continue to cooperate with the executive arm of government to think of actually creating enabling legal framework that will help us address very effectively the menace of out of school or out of formal school children, and how we can be able to even formalize our traditional education system in a way that even at the end of a system of a curricular program, for instance, an Almajiri child who might have been domesticated in a specified place could have the opportunity to have a formal certificate that he has read so courses.
Fantastic.
Is it Islamic jurisprudence? Is it Islamic morals? Is it Sharia? Some of the facets of Islamic training.
That's under the new, this new
and whoever has got
established
that opportunity can now have a certificate in his own hand
Yes.
to bear that I've attended, so to say, a semi-formal.
Sir, that will be based on this
education
new.
system, and
What
I've
you're
been
saying
able to
now.
get a certificate to that effect.
Okay, fantastic. Let me get Ramatu's question.
So, salam alaikum, sir. First of all, sir, I'm going to disagree with the fact that the new Islamic, Islamic body or something that you said about the Almajiri education, we can tell that the Almajiri, this thing is really a menace to our society, especially to the northern part of Nigeria. And I want to speak on the protest. That protest was not led by anybody. There was no leader, there was nobody that could be addressed. So at the end of the day, the protest came out, will I say null and void, because at the end of the day, nothing came out of it, right? So now the question I want to ask you is that, which policies, what are the policies that we're going to put in place, especially the North? Because I saw a video of the Deputy President coming out, Kashim Shettima, coming out to say that it's time for the Northern governors to come out and sit on a round table and start facing head-on the problems in the North, right? So I want to ask you, what are those policies that we're going to start making now to start getting the North in the right place? Because as we are seeing, the way things are going right now, the North is going to be very hot very soon. So what are the policies? What can you tell us some of the solutions that you think will help the North?
Okay, thank you so much, Ramatu. First of all, let me react to your opinion, which you said that was your own opinion, that there was nobody leading that protest. I want to also put it back to you that I still insist in my own opinion that there were some masquerades behind the protest. Take it or not, that is the true position. Some of them were politically motivated. Some of them had economic reasons. Some of them had social reasons. I want to tell you, nothing of such magnitude could have come without anything, without nothing. That is the position. Take it or not. And secondly, that the Al-Majri system you are talking about that is a problem to the north. It's only a problem to the north because we now have to see to the possibility of coming up with a different narratives that will coordinate and probably sustain the system in a manner that it will be for the good of the people so that our kids cannot just be roaming about on the street. And those are some of the problems our state governors must agree and accept to tackle. And it's part of the reasons why I also said initially that we are running a federation which is being guided by a constitution, constitutional federalism, where powers and authorities are dissected into 3 tiers of government. There are some duties and responsibilities that are bestowed under the jurisdiction of whom you call the governor of a state and the chief security officer of that state. Education, for instance, especially education at the universal, at the basic level, basic education, which of course I believe this Al-Majri system of education has squarely fallen under the jurisdiction or the purview of what you call basic education, which means it's mostly the responsibility of the state governors, with some certain responsibilities also bestowed on the federal government because they share it like they are concurring in terms of power sharing as far as basic education is concerned. That is why we have the SUBEB at the state level, and we have also we have the UBEC at the federal government level.
We need to go on a break.
Of Nigeria's education system is something that is concurred between the state and the federal government. And I want to tell you that I'm not a policy maker. Policies are being generated and initiated by the executive arm of government. I am fundamentally a legislator. I am proudly a parliamentarian, and I'm proudly someone that works within the legislative component of the Nigeria's democratic system.
Honorable, we need to go on a break, and we hear you. However, many people will say that you have been in power since 2007, and we cannot deny the fact that if there has been constant improvement in the lives of the citizens within all the northern states where there were controversy and protests and, destruction of property, if there's been improvement in their lives is democracy, we probably won't have this level of protest. But when we come back, we'll round off this conversation with you, sir, and we'd love you to give us clarity on what the administration will be doing to better the lives of people that came out to do the protest. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So before we went to the break, I made a personal opinion of the fact that the Honorable, you have been in power long enough to be able to say that you have been in power long enough for us to hold you accountable as part of the challenge of what we are facing, that you could have contributed, maybe what you would have said or what you could have done, or calling out politicians that are not delivering early enough could have prevented some of the things that we saw, especially the destruction of private businesses that have suffered right now. And I'm wondering, how do you feel we can heal and the people of Kano can heal after that? I know Nima wanted to add another question to that.
Okay, yeah. So the system of Al-Majri, yes, is an educational system that is well known in Islam, but the method that is done, the institution has completely been destroyed up north. Yes. These children are abused, they are marginalized, they are all forms of abuse because they are pushed out by their teachers to hawk, to beg for whatever means to pay their teachers. So it's not a system that is serving us anymore. As a representative of the people of Dogowa, when you see these children out on the streets, do you still consider them being educated in the states that they are in, begging for food?
Okay, my sister, let me also give this thing back to you, because we are actually looking at the issue from the perspective of how to resolve the problems. Who is responsible for what, and who is responsible for what, at what time and at what level. You see, when you are talking of this issue of Al-Majiris, not educated, walking on the street, begging and what have you, of course I agree some of these points you raise are germane and they are critical. and we must have to find solution we must have to find way forward to address them. But let me give you this one good example. Initially, I gave you two reasons. One, I said the population value, population factor was a reason, good reason, that made the crisis in Kano quite escalated. Second, I said, with respect, I want to repeat, with the respect and humility and with all sense of modesty to the office of the governor of my state, my proud state, Kano, that the governor in question, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, took the matter for granted, and there was what I can call mishandlings. Additional to this reason, madam, we are talking of a society that is supposed to observe rule of law. Rule of law. And this youth that we have supposedly on the street, these young men who are also informed and well educated to some extent, madam, have seen in that same Kano state a situation whereby respect for the rule of law is taken to the dogs. Respect for the rule of law is not taken seriously. A situation whereby a whole government and the governor of the state could pretend to undermine the ruling of a court, like in the case of the Emirate Council crisis. A ruling was given. Stay action, don't act. And the governor went ahead to act against the ruling of a court, which means he is subjugating the principle of rule of law. He is not respecting the principle of law and order. So I want to say this also on record, that probably our young men whom you are underrating as not educated, whom you are underrating as almajiris on the streets, may have taken a lesson from the chief executive of the state, who has also flouted court ruling and flouted order of the court. Like in Abuja, for instance, let me give you this good example. When a court ruling was given, a judgment was given that, oh, you protesters, you have the right to go to the street, you have the right to iron out with the government, but you are hereby restricted by an order of a competent court of jurisdiction that you are restricted to operate at only the national stadium. And for the fact that they have not seen Wike flouting rule of law, they have not seen Mr. President, our father, the father of the land in the FCT Abuja, flouting rule of law. They have not seen Senator Godswill Akpabio, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, breaching the rule of law. They have not seen our own Barrow Jibrin, the Deputy Senate President, breaching the rule of law. So Abuja people, Abuja youth now copied from an exemplary case of our leaders here. And they stayed at the stadium alone. They didn't move out. But in a state where those in authorities decided to flout the rule of law, disrespect court order.
I understand you, and I get the logic of what you're saying. But we also know that we can't blame the sitting governor for the problems that probably has been coming over time. It's not one governor that will be responsible for all the issues that happened within Kano State. But I want to ask you a question. This is just on a lighter note. We know that you had a very good relationship with Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, and it seems like there's a frosty relationship between you and him. And I would like you to explain if everything is good or are things went bad. Did things go bad?
I want to actually, with all sense of respect and humility, tell you that as someone who is trained and cultured, what happened between myself and Abdulmumin Jibrin has happened. And in the course of that happening, I received so many calls from my parents, my leaders, my colleagues and friends across the globe, not even within Nigeria, that we should stop it. I can tell you, I don't want to name people, but high-placed Nigerians who definitely, by my culture, could ask me to stop and stop. And at some point, I had to stop what we were doing. And for that same reason, I wouldn't like to now offer myself for any engagement, whether question, observation, or opinion about what happened between myself and Abdulmumin Jibrin Kopa, the member representing Kiru Bebeji Federal Constituency from my own humble, my good state. And what other people may not have known is that Abdulmumin Jibrin Kopa's constituency was carved out of mine. So I am representing his mother constituency. By extension, two of us belong to the two constituencies. I can be of Kiru and Bebeji, and he could also proudly be of Tudunwada Federal Constituency. So I want to say with due respect I don't want to say warning, to the advice I have received from so many quarters of this country that I should stop it.
Thank you so much.
To continue
That,
further. It happened. But
right.
I have no regret. I have no regret
Fantastic.
whatsoever for what I have said as far as that tussle or media tussle was concerned. No regret. And whatever I said, I stand by it. Only that I cannot continue talking about it anymore.
Okay, so we understand that, and we move on as well. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your contribution. We wish you all the best as you represent your constituents
for the opportunity
and bringing them more dividends of democracy. That's all we can take on this segment. To take a break, when we return, we have another guest on the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So on the final segment of this show, we're going to be discussing taxation and revenue, especially within Lagos State. And we have with us the Lagos State Special Advisor on Taxation and Revenue, Mr. Abdul Kabir Opeyemi Ogungbo.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm a Yoruba girl. I should be able to deliver that name.
Yeah.
Of course, we have lots of questions concerning taxation. We don't necessarily like anybody come and talk to us about tax at all. But we would like you to introduce to us the Lagos State's, what is the Lagos State Revenue portal about?
Thank you, and good morning. Good morning. Lagos Revenue Portal is another initiative of Mr. Governor, the governor that is empathetic to the people of Lagos. And this time around is looking at simplifying the way Lagos residents pay their revenue to the government of Lagos State. And this is more or less like a one-stop shop application for all the bills that is expected to be paid by individual. And please let me also note that this is not another revenue. This is not another form of extra revenue, but rather a simplification of how we pay our taxes or revenue. So, for instance, you have bills to pay to land use charge. I'm sure you know about land use charge. You know about maybe Lands Bureau, LASEPA, LOMA. So it's a system that brings about a one-stop application that allows us to pay our bills in a timely manner, anytime, anywhere in Lagos State and anywhere in the world.
Okay. Ramatu?
Okay, what features do you have a portal where people can go in, sign in, and all of that?
Yes.
Okay, so what features does the portal offer?
Among others, number one, like I said, the portal is called Revenue Portal, which you can be found through revenue.lagosstate.gov.ng and plus other URL that will be unveiling tomorrow. And so you can get your bills paid. You can have process of payment, streamlined, because you have multiple channels of payment. And also, of course, you can retrieve your payment history, meaning that if you have interaction with Lagos State in the past, you can actually view your remittance statement and pay. And if an agency of government generates a bill for you, you can as well see the bills on a platform at the same time. So these are the things that you can do on the platform.
All right. So can you briefly explain the benefits of the portal for the people, the state, and other stakeholders?
Basically, you have about lines of stakeholders. One, the payer, meaning that the payer in Lagos State. The banks, the collecting banks, because in Lagos, we don't collect cash. So payments are paid into the dedicated, designated account of the government. That's the revenue designated account. Then the MDAs. MDAs are the ministries, departments, and agencies. So these systems allow relationship, a faster, efficient relationship between the payer having paid, banks receiving it, and then the MDAs now giving service for the payment done. So these are the engagement between the stakeholders in Lagos State and in the revenue cycle management.
Okay, so I thought you mentioned that the unveiling of the portal will start tomorrow. Or when is it starting? So
Mr. Governor is unveiling and launching the portal officially tomorrow, that 15th August, and that is at Marriott Hotel in GRA. Okay. So invitation has been given to the invited banks, MDAs, users, stakeholders for their participation and joining in the unveiling of the laudable program that we have brought.
Okay, so, you know, the thing about, it sounds really interesting, but there's a slight worry or question that I have that you haven't addressed. You said there's no additional fee attached to this. It's not like we're paying any extra money, but would the portal, when you use a portal, wouldn't there be like charges that will come upon your payment when you're trying to do the payment? Just to clarify that.
Not exactly, because we have brought this through the directive of Mr. Governor to look at how people, the brain behind it is how people really struggle to make payments engaging multiple agencies at the same time. So can't we have an harmonized platform where convenience is the day, simplicity and all that? So it is not, the aim is not necessarily increasing revenue, but rather paint a scenario where you have somebody from Badagry and who need to come to Alausa, for instance, to make a payment. So we're saying that that is a thing of the past in this...
that means I must have misunderstood you, because when you do self-assessment taxes, they still give you, they arrive at a particular number based on the assessment at Alausa, then you go out of the complex to a bank, generate the remitter and do the payments and then come back.
Yes.
I thought when you said it was simplified, I thought it was a one-stop place where you can even put your card details and pay.
Yes, so exactly that. So once assessment means bill. So when that is generated, you don't need to wait or go to bank branch. So from the comfort of your, let's say your phone, you can actually go there and see channels of payment, like your card, web payments, USSD, and so we are adding additional convenient payment gateways into the, so you can actually do that. You don't need to go or walk into a branch of any bank to make that payment.
Well done.
Okay, so I feel that many, you've highlighted a few of the bills that is usually paid through this. Does it include the land use charge that they bring to the house?
Yes.
And when we get it, when you say we set up every payment we have done will be in one place.
Yes.
Does it include the previous payments or just the ones that we now start doing on the platform? So
that's why we're saying that there's continuity in governance, especially in Lagos. So your transactions way back in years, you have it on the portal. In as much as you use your unique ID. So all you need is that we have also provided opportunity for people to register, you know, ease of registration of payers. You know, you have what we call payer ID.
Yes.
So we just supply some information and your ID is created. So you can pay to any of the government through this platform. And you can also download your remittance statement. Those payments that maybe withholding taxes, your pay as you earn, and all the taxes or payment that you have made to Lagos, because this is actually for non-tax. Tax payment is on e-tax, which is another application. But this allows for interaction. There's proper integration between these systems, because it is a one system that we operate in Lagos, and that's what we sell.
Okay, well done, sir.
Okay, so, sir, when you commit an offense in Lagos, for example, like maybe most of the time that they tow our cars and all of that, so all those payments will...
So automatically, yes, automatically, you just need to add your profile. Be sure, test that, do I have my profile on the system? So when that happens, a lot of people, many at times, don't know that they have a particular bill to pay.
Yes, yes.
So we do not want to stress you further, because we know that the money is very hard to get. So the little that want to contribute their quota to the development of Lagos should actually be given a better life. And that's what Mr. Governor is talking
So
about.
do we need a LASTRA registration?
LASTRA registration is a prerequisite to living in Lagos. But you may not have LASTRA ID or something to come to the platform. So, but we are proposing that this kind of platform will allow registration of LASTRA, simplification and code to take place. And that's what we are trying to. So you just provide your NIN, your first name, last name, and then you have a PIN ID. Then you can now view all your transactions.
What about if you already have a PID? If you already
So you just log in.
Okay.
Or you reset your password to log in.
Okay.
Yes, and you can now view instantaneously. It's live, you can test it. So you can see all the payments that you have made or they have made on your behalf into that ID that you have.
Okay. Would you have any final comments as we round off?
I just look to Lagosians to say that for those that have been paying and supporting, Mr. Governor appreciates you because without you, all the developmental projects we are seeing wouldn't have been possible. And we also want to encourage the recalcitrants or those people that feels that we don't know what government is doing about our money, or we are we have trust issues. We want to say, trust the government. We are here for you, and make sure that you do your, not only civic responsibility, but it's your social responsibility and it's your moral obligations to pay to Lagos so that we can give you the desired Lagos that we all dream of.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for giving us the update concerning the new policy that is going to be taking effect tomorrow. I'm sure some people are already testing it. The portal that is taking off tomorrow, I'm sure people are already testing it right now. You said that, what's the portal?
revenue.lagostate.gov.ng.
Revenue.
You can use HTTPS as a secured platform.
So we'll be leaving you with the promo content from them as we sign off the show. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.
In the heart of Lagos, a quiet revolution is taking place. The Lagos State government proudly presents the Lagos Revenue Portal, LRP.
As a business owner, I always struggle with my payment processes.
Introducing Lagos Revenue Portal, a one-stop shop platform. With this, you can create an account,
Manage your bills, make payment through multiple channels, and get your Lagos State government automated revenue receipt instantly.
manage and track your payment history.
What more? You can initiate reversals and amendments from the comfort of your space through the self-service interface.
There's also a dedicated artificial experience center for support. I love that I can do everything from my phone, anytime, anywhere. Oh, goodness.
And this has really improved the efficiency and transparency of revenue collection in Lagos State. Kaji maganan gaskiya kenan.
Lagos Revenue Portal is empowering every citizen and business.
Be part of Lagos State digital transformation. Log on to www.revenue.lagostate.gov.ng. Efficiency and convenience redefined. Step into the future with LR. In the heart of Lagos, a quiet revolution is taking place. The Lagos State government